Nonprofit and for-profit organizations share the basic aim of delivering value, but they differ fundamentally in purpose, legal structure, revenue use, governance, accountability, and available funding. Understanding those differences helps founders, donors, investors, and stakeholders choose the right vehicle for a given mission. Purpose and profit distribution. Nonprofits exist primarily to advance a public or community benefit: education, health, charity, arts, and must reinvest surplus funds into their mission. They may not distribute profits to founders or directors. For-profit organizations exist to generate profit for owners or shareholders. Financial return is a core objective, though many for-profits also pursue social or environmental goals. Legal status and tax treatment. Nonprofits often obtain tax-exempt status, ambassador in 501c3 in the U.S., which can exempt them from income tax and allow donors to claim tax deductions. In exchange, they accept restrictions on political lobbying and the requirement to operate for public benefit. For-profits are taxable entities. They pay corporate or pass-through taxes and can take deductions, but generally cannot offer tax-deductible donations to supporters. Governance and control. Nonprofits are usually governed by a board of directors or trustees whose fiduciary duty is to the organization's mission and public interest. For-profits are accountable to owners or shareholders. Management's duty is to maximize shareholder value, subject to applicable laws. Decision-making in nonprofits can be more mission-driven and consensus-oriented. In for-profits, it often centers on return on investment and strategic growth. Funding and capital. Nonprofits commonly rely on donations, grants, membership fees, fundraising events, and program service revenue. They may have limited access to equity capital and are often constrained by donor restrictions and grant requirements. For-profits can raise capital through equity investors, venture capital, bank loans, and retained earnings, mechanisms that can accelerate growth but create pressure for financial returns. Accountability and transparency. Nonprofits typically face public disclosure requirements, Gene filing Form 990 in the U.S., and must demonstrate stewardship of donated funds. Donors and regulators expect measurable mission impact and fiscal responsibility. For-profits report to investors and regulatory bodies and focus on financial performance metrics. Consumer and reputational factors increasingly pressure them to disclose social and environmental impacts as well. Performance metrics. Nonprofits measure success largely by mission outcomes, service reach, and efficiency of resource use. For-profits prioritize profitability, revenue growth, and return on investment. Social enterprises and B Corp blend metrics, tracking both financial performance and social environmental impact. Advantages and trade-offs. Nonprofits: access to tax-exempt status and charitable funding, public trust, mission focus, but limited access to equity capital, potential dependence on grants, and restrictions on political activity. For-profits: greater access to investment, scalability, and incentive-driven management, but taxed, investor pressure for returns, and sometimes lower public trust for charitable activity. Hybrid models and alternatives. Where mission and revenue growth must coexist, hybrid structures can help. A for-profit subsidiary owned by a nonprofit, benefit corporations, or B Corp certification, low-profit limited liability companies, L3Cs, and community interest companies, UK. These options allow mission alignment while unlocking capital and commercial flexibility. Which to choose? Choose nonprofit when the primary objective is public benefit, when you need tax-exempt status or donor funding, and when distributing profits is not intended. Choose for-profit when you expect scalable revenue, need outside equity, or seek to reward investors and founders financially, even if you pursue a social mission. Consider hybrid forms if you need both mission protection and access to capital. Assess mission clarity, revenue model, funding needs, governance preferences, and regulatory constraints to pick the structure that best supports long-term sustainability and impact.